Are we about to see Kazuchika Okada versus Jon Moxley in the G1 Climax 29 finals? It's coming up next on the Squared Circle Psycho Babble. Hello and welcome to the Squared Circle Psycho Babble. My name is Michael Valenti. This is Ralph Valenti. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications as we're trying to hit 10,000 YouTube subscribers before All Elite Wrestling's all out. Ralph, one of the biggest names in the wrestling industry recently is Jon Moxley. Ever since he debuted at All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing, he's been having great promos, great matches, creating a buzz, rejuvenating his career, and he's doing that all in New Japan Pro Wrestling, actually, in the G1 Climax, currently leading his block, the B block, with a perfect 10 points after 5 matches. And on the other side, we have the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Kazuchika Okada, who also has 10 points. He has a lead in the A block after beating Kenta this weekend. Yeah. So the question is, are we setting up Okada versus Moxley, right, New Japan versus AEW for the G1 Climax finals?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the further and further we get into this whole tournament, the more likely this scenario is. Mm-hmm. And, I think this was a pivotal match for Naito and Moxley, because I feel like this is really the turning point where you can kind of determine what they were going to do with this. Because right, I've been kind of on the fence with this, and I've always said, and still to this day, I can't see him actually beating Okada for the title.
Yes.
But I think it's more likely now than ever that he actually goes through, wins his block, and faces Okada for the title.
Well, it wouldn't be for the title. It'd be for the shot at the title.
Right. That's what I'm sorry.
Yeah. So basically, for those that don't follow New Japan, this is a round robin tournament. The winner of it faces the IWGP Heavyweight Champion at Wrestle Kingdom. And Kazuchika Okada, who is the champion right now, if he ends up winning, he chooses his opponent.
Right.
So basically, right now, the only two that have perfect records right now are Jon Moxley and Kazuchika Okada. And this past weekend, we had basically their two toughest opponents that they would face in this whole block. Okada facing Kenta, who also was undefeated before his match. They went 27 minutes. Very good match. Okada ended up winning. It looked like they were going to go to the 30-minute draw, but they didn't. And then Moxley, in about 16 and a half minutes, beats Tetsuya Naito, the current Intercontinental Champion, gives him now a 4-point lead in his block. The only two that are behind him that really have a shot right now are Tomohiro Ishii, who Moxley already beat, and Juice Robinson, who is facing him the last day before the finals. It will be Juice Robinson versus Jon Moxley. Honestly, I thought up until this weekend that Juice would take it from Moxley, but already being up 4 points, and with Juice basically has to run the table to win the block. Ishii already is a match down because he lost to Moxley already, so I don't see him making a run. And everybody else in the B block is essentially done, which includes Naito and Jay White. Yep. And Moxley still has to face Jay White. His last 4 opponents are Hiroki Goto, Jay White, Toru Yano, and Juice Robinson. Do you see any of those 4 even beating Moxley?
Not legitimately. Not like they have a straight up match without any outside interference and they pin him in the middle of the ring or submit him. I can't see that.
So the one guy that could possibly throw a wrench in this whole thing is Toru Yano, who is like this guy that does all this shenanigans in the ring, tries to pull a fast one. None of his matches are more than 5 minutes. So if anything, maybe he's the one that throws a screwy finish in there. But
I think it... So they kind of teased this a little bit yesterday too. I don't know exactly when it was, but they, obviously New Japan does the post-match conferences and interviews. So Juice Robinson specifically called out Moxley. He said, "I'm coming for you, Moxley," et cetera, et cetera. I got to believe that last match against Moxley is going to have some implications to it. So whether it's Moxley ends up losing in some strange fashion, or Juice Robinson ends up coming out and costing him a match, which I think is the more likely of the scenarios. That way, Moxley has a loss. Juice Robinson has 2 losses going into the finals. And then if Juice Robinson ends up beating him, then obviously they'd be tied, but Juice Robinson would have the tiebreaker over him. That's a way to do it, too. That's one way to look at it. But then at least you have that kind of drama and that suspense going into that final match, because like I said, I just can't see why they'd book it or have it where Juice and Moxley would be the last matchup if it didn't mean more than just we know Moxley's gonna eventually win his block.
Right.
So
I mean, you look at the 4 that Moxley has left. Switchblade Jay White, a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, could certainly beat Moxley.
Yep.
But
I don't see that.
I mean, I don't see it, but there's also the outside interference that could happen with Gato in his corner. Toru Yano, we already talked about, where he does all shenanigans, try to distract referees for quick roll-ups. Basically, the 24/7 championship in a nutshell.
Yep.
Hiroki Goto is one of those guys that's a very stiff and tough wrestler that could go toe-to-toe with Moxley, similar to Ishii. And then there's Juice. So obviously we feel that match is going to matter. So one of the 3 matches that he faces left in the G1, he would have to lose one for that match to make sense and really matter. So I just don't. This one's tough. I think he beats Goto, but wouldn't be surprised if either Gato gets involved or there's some shenanigans with Toro, and he loses one of those 2. Especially with Jay White basically mathematically out of contention now. That one's tough.
Just play spoiler. Yeah, I mean,
play spoiler.
That was the name I was really kind of thinking about was Jay White if he was to lose a legitimate match against somebody where he wouldn't lose too much by losing, because obviously, like you said, former IWGP Heavyweight Champion and Jay White, so it wouldn't be like it's a credibility killer for him. So
no. So now the question is, if it in fact happens where Moxley and Okada face each other in the finals, how would this affect AEW?
Right.
Because if Moxley loses to Okada, it's not, like you said, it's not a credibility killer. Like you're saying, if Jay White beats him, it's not a credibility killer. Obviously, if Okada beats him, it's not a credibility killer. But if Moxley somehow wins and he has to go to Wrestle Kingdom, now he's basically contracted for that date in January. What if something's in the works for AEW? Or do they use this as part of a storyline for his match and All Out with Kenny Omega, saying, listen, I know how to beat Okada. I know you've beat him too, but you also lost to him twice.
It certainly could. I mean, and to the hardcore fan, I think that's going to mean a lot to them.
Obviously, to a casual fan, might not know who Okada is. Right. They would have to explain it better. Like, Okada is considered the best wrestler in the world.
To many people, yeah.
Omega has gone over an hour twice with him. So that I would love to see something like that in the storyline with Moxley and Omega. Or if Okada if Okada beats Moxley, then you have something on Road 2 where Omega cuts a promo saying, I beat Okada. That's why I am the best wrestler in the world. And even say, you know what? I know you're saying this isn't a video game, but I'm that good. I can dress like a video game character and still kick ass. Try to twist it. The criticism that, we've talked about, Jim Cornette has brought up, other fans have brought up, the stupidness of, or stupidity that Omega could do sometimes with dressing like a video game character, wrestling with blow-up dolls, wrestling 9-year-olds, stuff like that. And be like, listen, I could do it because I'm the best in the world.
Yep.
So I would love to see it. At the end of it, one-on-one, if we get Okada-Moxley with 4 matches left, who wins?
I still say Okada wins.
Okada?
Yeah.
I agree, too. So let us know in the comments below if we do end up seeing Moxley versus Okada in the G1 finals. How will it impact AEW? And could they use it in their storyline with a match with Kenny Omega? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to share this all over social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SCPB Podcast. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications as we're trying to hit 10,000 YouTube subscribers before All Elite Wrestling's all out. For Ralph Valenti, my name's Michael Valenti. Thank you for watching the Squared Circle Psychobabble.